Welcome back. So lucky, we managed to continue the day after the previous part. So unfortunately, that means not much grinding in between due to being busy and stuff. So let's try to still progress forward more legitimately, I suppose.
Last time, Tia got his ass kicked repeatedly.
These
As
fucking
happened the time
skeletons.
before that, and the time before that.
And it wasn't
So,
my fault.
No. Well, to be fair, I deliberately chose because once again it's a spook season, so let's try to be celebrative about it.
yeah, we're gonna be spoopy.
I mean, when's the last time we actually did a spoopy game for Halloween for the channel? Because I don't remember that.
I don't think... Have we ever actually intentionally done that?
Nope, only movies.
Guys, we were talking about, we already did Time and Eternity.
I don't think we even the Castlevania runs. Maybe we did either one of them around the October time, but it was probably unintentional.
I know what'll be a great Halloween game. The E.T. game.
Oh God, no.
What, the Atari one?
Well, how many others do you think there are?
Well, it'd be like maybe I thought it'd be like the Superman games where they still make installments even after one infamously bad one.
I'm talking specifically about the infamously bad one.
Yeah, the Atari one.
Also, I don't even know who has the license to the ET video game. Potential.
I have no idea.
Ugh. There we go. Because it shifts, unless it's like something very lucky, like very coincidental. Like say, nowadays most Warner Bros. Games are now labeled under the Warner Bros. Gaming IP license because they now can fully use that. For other companies, it's weird. Like, for example, remember, Disney Interactive has been officially disbanded unless it's about Kingdom Hearts. So most of their other games get to be published by someone else. And in case, for example, of Cars 3, even by Warner Bros. Like, I get it when it comes to the Lego games because, okay, Warner Bros., you have chained in your basement Traveler's Tales and forced them to do only Lego games nowadays. Even though it's sad, I understand that. But Disney, come on, don't let Warner Bros. Publish your stuff. Like, Corporate 101.
Well, Traveler's Tales are owned by Warner.
Well, no, that's what I mean, and that's why I said that I understand that, despite being, slightly sad about it. Again, because everyone may say like Crash to Insanity as they're one big example that everyone knows, but Traveler's Tales has managed to do great games all over the place, pretty much ever since the 16-bit era, as far as I know. And even if most of the stuff they did was licensed, you could feel at least the passion that they put in the project. Stuff like Mickey Mania, or sorry, the Toy Story 2 video game, and for that matter, for example, the Muppets Racer game. And even when they fucked up with something quote-unquote original, like Haven Call to the King, you could still feel that there at least was some kind of spark around that.
So
But
Nemo game then.
Well, I again, like, they can't struck gold every single time, can they? Not to mention.
Although I have played the GBA, I played the GBA version that wasn't done by Traveler's Tales, and that was alright.
Mm-hmm. Not to mention, Leaves, again, it's important to establish these days, especially where opinions about companies and games are more radicalized, that, no one is above a failure. Like, it's important to stress out because it is still said that you see like a favorite developer or like a company, or someone that you still were very hold to fuck up somehow in some kind of manner, because before the whole Mighty Number 9 scam and revealing all the shit that they have been through, Keiji Inafune still had some, fans and respect. Remember, the Mega Man Zero franchise, sub-series, is still high regarded by lots. That's also why an HD collection treatment as well. You know,
With his NA
but.
series.
The same goes for other people like for example despite the fact that compared to my number 9 Bloodstained, which overnight is actually a good game, it suffers from some minor performance, and apparently on the Switch it's in desperate need of a patch update. But still, it goes to show that just the mere presence of the name of IGA wasn't enough to produce automatically, immediately, like a good game. It just needed, the team behind it. It's the whole, you just don't need just a name, you just need the whole team. But, hold on. With this audience, I don't mean the fact that you should be paranoid about every single company, every single game that goes outside, that is coming out and say, oh, dead on arrival, ruined forever, my company is completely dead and I don't want to follow them anymore. Because that goes to the other extreme, There we go. I just say that, like with many other things, particularly on the internet, try to find your balance, and enjoy the fucking games. At least the ones that you can, enjoy. There we go. Ugh. Fuck. No.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Fox Souls part.
Lips, I don't know if you've seen the average run, let's play of Dark Souls, but I can assure you, this is the Dark Souls experience. There we go. Like, let me give you a personal instance of something that normally is very close to dear to me, that I made very clear when we did the run of it. I really, really adore the way Yoko Taro writes. For example, this is different take on existentialism and nihilism. Because usually Japanese developers, when they talk about nihilism, your average example is Gears, where Monolith is literally taking the also Zarathustra example of man rising up above God and eventually killing it, taking control of his destiny, blah blah blah, yada yada. Serviceable enough, but later in these years has become slightly redundant. That's why they also try to go around their own formula. Taro instead writes with the idea, of fuck. Apologies for all this swearing, but the experience requires it. But anyway, Taro writes with the idea of the nihilistic idea of existentialism, like I said, the idea of discovering something that, like, you were part of something bigger than you expected, and your reaction towards it, and your morality towards it, which will not necessarily be good or bad. It's just how things happen, presented with what the character chooses. Automata is a bit more clear on that, but of course you need to replay the game to discover that fully. But even so, but this to say that I just usually generally love the writing. But the problem is that for that can also Taro can fall into other traps. For example, his ex-team, Kavya, was notorious for not being good at developing a decent gameplay for his products. The first Drakengard is the most clear example that it's practically almost unplayable to this day. But even other stuff that they did, like Resident Evil Dead Aim, for the PS2, even if it didn't have Taro involvement, still wasn't. Let's just say there's a reason why it's not well remembered by the Resident Evil community. There we go. And there's the fact that, unfortunately, as much as I still really enjoy that game, Drakengard 3, which also was involved with Taro, has questionable humor. Taro basically had gotten complaints about the fact that the first Nier was a bit too dark in terms of being received by the audience. So he tried with Drakengard 3 to still tell a serious story, but tries to spruce up with more comedy. it's more hit and more miss than hit on a lot of levels. Particularly, like I mentioned off commentary before, a lot of the jokes come from the fact that the protagonist Dragon has to pee, so not exactly your prime material. I still enjoy the story for what it is. It's also unfortunately the fact that it was 2012 Square Enix, so of course the ending is relegated to a Japanese exclusive novel. Don't you know? But even despite that, I still can appreciate Taro. Again, honestly, I prefer when someone manages to accept the actual weakness or bad points of a product whilst recognizing them, rather than someone just blindly say, "Oh no, you're wrong because this thing is infallible." Do you guys have any personal examples of your own?
I know I went to this before, but I mean, in terms of stuff that yeah, I still enjoy despite a few hiccups. House.
You mean the TV series?
Yeah.
Well, I was meaning more in terms of video game, but I'm guessing for your case, Dweebs, it would be maybe the DMC reboot.
Yeah, because I enjoy it. Not many others do, but I'm perfectly fine with them not enjoying it as long as they don't treat me and vice
Sorry,
versa.
Dweebs, you're unfortunately the scum of the earth because of it.
I like this thing, but the flaws. I like the thing, flaws.
I mean, so what? Everything has flaws. If I judged if I judged everything by how many flaws it had, I wouldn't like anything.
Yeah, exactly.
It's an unfortunate side effect of the fact that today objectiveness is more highly regarded. Not in a sense that you should discard it entirely, but in a sense that a lot of people are thinking that subjective opinions instead are objective. It's all a matter of, I guess, of a proper education, if that's a word for the argument. Because to be fair, the phrase "everyone's a critic" is still true, and has to be true. Because otherwise, you find yourself with other people that you have to rely on in specific places, like, for example, gaming journalists, movie journalists, and so on. And 90% of the times, their opinion turns out to be questionable, like your average game journalist, for example.
Like how everyone thought, the Joker movie would incite riots and
and people shooting everyone.
Instead,
what happened? Memes. Of course, it happened with memes because why not? People wanted to have fun.
Spooky memes, but yeah, most of that backlash, supposed backlash, came from some biased U.S. media outlets trying to push it.
Yeah, like I think it was still Fox News, at least one of them. But don't quote me entirely on that.
I'm not 100% sure on that myself.
I got it, guys. They had secret, even though that wasn't the part of Fox that Disney owns now. Disney secretly sends sleeper agents there to sabotage.
Of course, you just don't escape the mouse,
No, I mean nothing escapes the mouse. Hell, Die Hard didn't escape the mouse, so
Alien did not escape the mouse.
Predator didn't.
Again, I'm really, despite the fact that nowadays people are more, concerned about what Disney will do to their properties. I mean, we're getting in a couple of months the 9th episode of Star Wars, and after episode 8, Solo and Rogue One, everybody is super is super concerned about the fact that probably most likely episode 9 will also not be potentially good, but I don't know. Like, I'm still gonna go to see potentially in cinema, but
yeah, I'm gonna see it.
If
see how it ends.
Let it be, I guess, my last chance, because I still enjoy the Rogue One and Solo, and while I personally don't mind most of the flaws of the TLJ, I understand if the fact that people consider it bad, and the fact that it can't it just, oh fuck these traps. and the fact that it polarized this much to the audience.
My problem is that they did it. Is that they tried to do that kind of thing intentionally when there was no real need to.
But I don't want to turn.
It was going to lead to what was going.
But I don't want to turn this into a discussion about the Last Jedi because the internet is already so full of them. So instead,
we already did that.
Yeah, let me go back instead to the point. The fact that despite what people have feared about Disney treating the properties, I'm still curious to see what we're gonna do with stuff like Alien, about the Fox merger. Anyway, getting back to the game. As you may have seen, I killed the last old man boner of the area, and I got by pulling the lever, I opened the door, and by getting here, I'm up above where it was, and I can get a great scythe, a weapon to use. It's not that great, but it's fairly unique. So why not?
A great scythe then.
Huh?
It's not that great. Why call it a great scythe?
And now I got.
It's the great cipher, not the greater or greatest cipher. Come on. Also,
that sounds like a big Steven Universe.
What the greatest cipher?
Not the show. I mean the character himself.
Yeah, but yeah, since you asked, for me that one thing would be Sonic Heroes.
Wait, Sonic Heroes, is that polarizing? Compared to the other
I
Sonic
have
games,
to
I don't
put
know.
up with a lot of people dragging that game over hot coals thing.
I know that I guess that due to its very nature, Sonic discussion can be polarizing no matter what. But I didn't know about Sonic Heroes being thrown into the pile like this.
Oh yeah, I see it constantly from a couple of very specific people, especially.
Wait, guys, what are you talking about? Sonic the Hedgehog was always controversial.
You're talking about the fact it was never good?
Of course,
Sonic was never good. Let's not devolve into that show.
Please.
Yeah, I mean, even though you could. The examples people throw at say criticisms people throw at Sonic 1.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them you can easily throw at, like, say, the first Mario game. Sometimes you can't see stuff when in Mario's case when you're jumping really high.
Oh, look at that! Someone has turned a bridge.
How very nice of.
But that's the thing, the bridges are, controlled by the levers, so maybe there's someone up there. Let's see. Hello there! This is Patches, Trusty Patches. This is my favorite character in the entire game. Let's see if the skeleton does in a second. Oh my god, there's a skeleton fucking up. Yeah, it is. Fucking hell, it's ruining the moment! Get out of here!
Go away!
The problem is that since it's under the effect of a necromancer, I fear this motherfucker. Yeah, I will not die. Alright, let me check quickly if I have a blessed weapon, a divine weapon, but I fear not. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Shoot.
No, I think there's a better solution.
Run away?
No, let's try to bait him.
Can we feed him to a dog?
No, in a sense of bait him, potentially to drop off a ledge.
But there's also the huge risk of running off the ledge yourself.
Because I want to actually enjoy the dialogue with Patches, so
This game will let you have fun in any aspect.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, sure. Wait, the game
Yeah,
not like
Mena doesn't agree with that.
See, there's the doggo coming to get you.
Mena wants to have fun too.
A game where you don't have fun. What do you think this is? Death Stranding?
No, Dweebs, that would be something else based on Sony, but I will not mention here because it's a quote taken from an interview out of context, and it piss off a lot of people, so I will not mention it.
Well, the quote I was referring to was when Kojima said in an interview that the first part of the game might not be fun, and I'm like...
Yeah, again, emphasis on may. Jesus Christ, people.
It seems like it might be a mileage may vary kind of thing.
Let's see if I can perform a kick action like this. Like
this is Dark Souls.
There we go. Fuck off. talking. Let's talk to Patches. Thank you.
Skeletons are really rude.
Huh? Oh, what, how are you then? I sort of lost my way.
Sure you did.
But when I came here, I didn't touch any levers.
No, sure you didn't.
Really peculiar, isn't it?
Why are you standing right next to a lever then?
Hey, don't look at me like that. I'm Trusty Patches, the one and only.
Trusty Patches, yeah, that's a name I can trust. What about you
Come
guys?
on, take it.
Well, he's giving me an item, so why not?
He's been fucking with us with that bloody bridge.
Now, I wasn't supposed to meet him right now. There you go, let me unfuck the bridge. Like this. Because if I meet him the first time...
Does it really matter that
Hold on.
much? Come on now, what exactly do you think I did? You're not making sense, my friend.
I'm watching you. Also, I really love Patch's, outfit in terms of, the actual armor. Which is why, as soon as I will manage to get one later on in the run, and I'll probably use that as a standard. I mean, it's one that I use for my avatar most of the time. But let me go back to it. If I met Patches before the bridge, turned, he will ask me a question if I am a cleric or not. And in that case, I would have had to ask you a choice about it. But since we actually did it met him under different circumstances, well, we avoided asking the question. So be thankful of that, because, that tiny question may have, some rather important repercussions in the future. Just mildly telling you that. Alright, I think I unfucked all the bridges, so let's see if I can manage to... No, I need to get on the other side. Because if I manage to calculate my chances right, I may manage to get to a shortcut, very necessary shortcut, mind you, that I may use to actually, get to the bottom of the catacombs. And yes, there it is. But I need to be human for that. I forgot about that. Fuck. Give me a second. Let's see if... and if I strike... Ow, ow, ow! And as I said, if I strike here, it's an invisible wall, which leads me to a bonfire, which will help us immensely.
Before we go to the Star Wars thing for a second. Ow, 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 ow.
That's the Imperial March. Anyway, let's raise our dexterity to 12.
And just like that, Disney are gonna sell us for £1,000.
Completely. We will atomize us with a satellite ray, don't you know?
No, they'll Mickey-ize us.
I actually haven't seen the South Park episode that talks about censorship in China, but from what I heard, it actually involves once again the Mickey Mouse character. So I'm actually really curious about that. Because when South Park busts out the Mickey Mouse character, usually it never ends well. Oh fuck! You motherfuckers are starting to seriously piss me off. Die. Alright, if I jump right here. Pardon the screeching.
Watch your step.
Whoa! Now, let's see, if I drop just here, then yes, there is a summoning sign. Our first one, mind you, because I don't think we have met one before. Specifically about, of all things, a World of Warcraft reference. Why?
Of all the times for us to encounter one, is when...
But believe me, this Paladin Leroy, he's actually very useful, unlike his World of Warcraft counterpart. This guy is a fucking tank and can deal absolute massive damage, and we absolutely need him because the creatures right under this very place are not friendly in the slightest. So let's just say that if the normal Skeletons were the pain in the ass, these one are way fucking worse. Come on, Leroy. Also, I found a preset. Come on, Leroy, where are you?
So,
oh, there he is.
So, since it's us Europeans here today,
Yeah.
How many of us are looking forward to the new brain training game?
Again, I don't have a Switch yet, but I actually don't mind. I am curious about that.
What about you, Shiri?
Could you repeat that?
The Dr.
look-
Kawashima brain
Dr.
training.
The new Dr. Kawashima's brain training game for the Switch.
Alright, guys,
I'm not sure if I'm getting that.
sorry to interrupt that, but we actually are having another boss fight, and this is clearly our most fearsome foe that we actually have met thus far.
Let me guess, he's just a little mouse, but he kicks our ass.
You, surprisingly enough, no, and surprisingly enough, the Soul series never has done that. Oh, but what is this? He's working on a table. On a skeleton! Ooh! Is that Jeff the Killer? Go to sleep! No, instead this is Pinwheel. I don't know why it's called Pinwheel, but it has three masks. The mask of a father, the mask of a mother, and the mask of a child. Let's see how much this guy can last.
One of the masks looks like a helmet design from Final Fantasy XIV.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's right. Look at how much damage I'm dealing to this guy. Not to mention with Leroy at my side too.
Yeah, it's like
Look at that! He one-shotted him. Thanks, Leroy.
It's like
Goodbye,
Leroy and,
and,
it's like Leroy and Stitch or something.
and I got as a prize the Rite of Kindling. What is the Rite of Kindling? Now, as I mentioned, this is the other tool that we needed. Now we can upgrade our bonfire until we get plus 20, until we get 20 Estus flasks, as long as we have enough humanity. Also, Dweebs, when I get a drum roll, please, because Pinwheel has a chance of dropping one of his masks, and if we get the right one, we have made our run much, much more easy. So, drum roll, please. Fuck! It's not the right one. Don't worry, we will manage to get the proper one later, rubber means. For example, basically, let me explain this. The effect of the three masks. The mask of the mother raises as the extra effect. It's an add, but all three are helmets. They're not upgradable. They have fixed stats as a result, but we have a decent magic defense, and some bleeding resistance. And all three of them have specific effect. The Mask of a Mother slightly raises your HP. The Mask of a Child has the similar effect to the Grass-Crash Shield in a sense that it boosts your stamina recovery. Although I don't think it stacks, or maybe, I don't know. But the one that we need is the Mask of a Father. Of course, because memes, but more practically because, similar to the Ring of Evil's Ring, it boosts our maximum load capacity, meaning that we can equip far heavier stuff and still roll at a decent pace. So unfortunately, that one is postponed for later in the game. But the good news is that we have done pretty much everything that we need, to get to the catacombs. Now, we can potentially go forward, but this is the point where the game becomes pretty much unplayable for us right now. So we will need to be getting here another time. Instead, let's use one of our items, the Homeward Bones. Like one that we got, to teleport instantly to the last bonfire, and then get back out of the catacombs because we're pretty much done. That
should be a tagline for the game. Let's lose.
But there is potentially one more stuff that we can do here, like unlocking another blacksmith, but we don't really need it right now. So, also since we got a bunch of souls from Pinwheel, let's level up. Let's see. Attunement, we're fine. Yeah, we're fine. But if we level up 2 times, we get a third slot, so why not? And we pump up one more to Vitality. There we go. Don't worry about our Pyromancer actually knowing Pyromancy. We will soon enough find more ways to actually get them. So don't worry about that. Now it's time to get out of here, so we need to climb. The good news is that we're done. The bad news is that, in order to climb back up, we will need to fight more skeletons. So let's hope they're more cooperative. Thankfully, Dweebs in the official Netflix adaptation, Teosunny will not be played by, Matthew Broderick.
I thought that was the Witcher Netflix were making, not Dark Souls.
That's also Henry Cavill who's playing it, Geralt of Rivia. But from the screening that I've seen, he looks the part, so why not?
Well, plus it's a series as opposed to a movie, so if they are trying to put in some stuff from the games, I'll have more time to do it.
Well, to be fair, Dweebs, I think it's actually more based around the original books, from what I heard, so might as well. I mean, that makes sense now that it would be a book, a series instead of a movie. Fuck.
Speaking of Netflix stuff, have you guys been watching? I haven't myself. But have you guys been watching those Nickelodeon revival?
I've yet to watch Invader Zim Enter the Floorpus, but I heard it's pretty good.
I don't watch a lot of TV, so I haven't really watched anything.
What about
Actually,
the Modern Life one?
Oh, okay. No, I haven't yet, especially because I never watched the original, so I don't really have an attachment compared to Invader Zim.
I'm just wondering what the Rugrats revival is going to be like, especially since they got back the original creators.
Aren't like half of voice actors dead or something?
Yeah, so I think a couple of them are no longer around. The rest might be even. I'm sure the rest might be up to snuff to do.
No, I don't mean that. I mean, like, if it has to be like the super revival thing, starts having some depressing connotation as a result. I understand that not everyone can be like Square Enix and trying to be super consistent with their voice acting no matter what, but I don't know.
And before someone throws the objection of the Final Fantasy VII remake at us, it's a remake. So.
Not just that, apparently it was a decision dictated by the American branch of Square Enix, because in the Japanese dub is still having the classic voice actor. Not to mention, it's only a matter for the remake only. The side materials and crossovers that involve the characters still have the old voice actor. Case in point, for example, Rachel Ray Cook reprising the role as Tifa for the CDNT. But that requires someone actually playing the CDNT these days.
Love how the skeleton just jumped off the bridge.
just yeeted himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a cartoon. He jumps on thin air, then he falls down.
Alright, let's try wing it to get to the bonfire. This is also the advantage of using Abel's Ring. I can do this burst of speed, and recover relatively quickly, because again, your run is tied to your, to your stamina. Look.
No, you're already there.
There we go. Now I can rest. No, here's the thing. The game knows if there are enemies near the bonfire, so it doesn't let you just rest. Because if you rest, the enemies respawn around you. So if you have, one may think, oh, I'll just, run to the bonfire, even if there is someone in the room, I'll just rest at the bonfire and we will just go away. No, it doesn't work like that. So, tough luck. Anyway, now we can actually properly get out of here and continue the main story. Ugh. Just need to surpass the skeletons at the beginning and we're good to go. We will eventually come back to the catacombs later in the game after a specific event in order to get stuff that we're missing and continuing from that tease that they show after the pinwheel boss fight. There we go. Fuck. This fucking skeleton love to show up out of nowhere. Fuck. Bitch ass.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Teo's gaming life from the Nickelodeon.
Having a heated gamer moment, as they say.
Where's my Mountain Dew and Doritos? I mean, keep in mind that for previous streams, it was David Cage's game. It's kind of like a testament, the fact that David Cage, quote unquote, games were so shallow that he never caused moments like this. There we go. Now we can get up. Also, we can actually see some proper light, maybe. As soon as this fucker goes away. Yeah, let me in the meantime explain the actions that I did before. The kick. It's used for stuff like they did before, like pushing enemies potentially out of into a bottomless pit. It's performed by pressing at the same time the attack button, in my case on the PlayStation controller R1, up on the analog stick, at the same time in a specific manner. It's a bit hard to explain. It's in that sense the game is very old school, in a sense that it's similar to those NES games where they require you to press a button slightly before or after you press another one. There we go. Oh, by the way, since it's obligatory to, I forgot to mention, of course, going back to the catacombs and later on we'll meet also Patches after we're done, in that kind of sense. So, believe me, we haven't seen the last of him.
We're gonna see the...
But in the meantime, you maybe can check who voices Patches, because I actually have some kind of history with that.
What's his character's name in full? Patches?
Trusty Patches.
Alright, I'll ask Trusty Patches Dark Souls voice actor.
Guest commentator is Alexa.
No, actually I just used the microphone. Save me typing because I'm lazy.
Oh, Cortana, then.
No, I just speak into it and it says it just types in the text.
What's the result, Lisa?
William Vander.
Yeah, I actually know. I actually remember, but I didn't know how to pronounce it properly. I think he's like he actually has a lot of extensive work. He worked for both children's show and actual adult TV series.
He has some martial arts knowledge as well.
He's actually, from what I heard, he's actually very fond of voicing Patches, because Patches is kind of like a seed character in a Final Fantasy game, in a sense that they may not be the same, but one of them show up a lot of times in games that Hidetaka Miyazaki directs. So there is one in Demon's Souls, there is one here, there is one in Dark Souls 3, and there is one in Bloodborne. Surprisingly enough, there is none of them in Sekiro. That call will surprise everyone, but I guess it was that to reinforce the idea that Sekiro is not a Souls-like game.
You can even around here he's the voice of one of the voices of our version of Nickelodeon.
In what in
which
what
show in
sense,
particular?
No, he's just like the trailer voices.
Huh. Interesting.
Yes. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, as you don't worry. Again, like I said, we'll meet Patches later on, and we'll see what delights he has for us. But anyway, for the meantime, let's proceed, because now we're actually back to where we started. Well, before deviating towards the catacombs. So yeah, unfortunately, the spoopiness is over, at least for the time being. I mean, the game still has some minor Nightmare Fuel stuff, but for the novice. But the proper, Halloween special theme is pretty much over. Anyway, let's get up the stair here. If you don't remember, it's a shortcut that we opened at the end of part 2, I think. Yeah. Which leads us to the bridge with the dragon on it. Now it's time for another choice, Luis. We can do the Leroy Jenkins way and trying to find a way to sprint towards the gate that's right under the dragon. Or we can do the quiet way and just sneak potentially under the bridge.
Floor it. Just floor it.
Floor it, Leroy Jenkins.
Alright then, chums, let's do this. But first, let me try to...
Oh yeah, I just scanned my lottery ticket.
Whoa!
£5, so hopefully my luck will rub off on Teo.
Sorry, what do you mean?
While I was muted for a second, I scanned my lottery ticket to see if it won anything.
Yeah.
I won £5.
Okay. And why am I involved with this?
Oh, it's rare I win anything on the
Anyway, that's how you were doing things.
He's hoping
Basically,
it'll bring you
if I
luck
could-
because he's
Yeah,
usually
so-
unlucky.
hold on. Let me
Check
explain
your
this
luck.
because it's rather important if you want to succeed. There you go. Tapping gently onto the wall will piss off the dragon. So it's now time to wing it.
Run!
There we go. And by doing that, the dragon just fucks off. I
Oh,
think.
okay.
Someone got past me. Oh, well, never mind.
There we go. Bye. Don't worry, if you get back on the bridge, it will eventually return. So unless you kill him, there is no chance. Anyway, let me try to give some, lore, because as you can see here, there is a statue, a broken statue, mind you, of a guy with a spear, a head here, and like that. If you have certain conditions, here is where you can actually join the Covenant of the Warriors of Sunlight. I briefly touched upon them, I think, in part 1, but basically covenants in this game are pacts that you can forge by talking to an NPC or a specific condition to potentially help you in PvP, mostly used for PvP purposes, but they differ you in some kind of way. The Warriors of Sunlight are somewhat more famous because, for example, Solaire is part of one of that, and they're specialized in helping people in defeating bosses by leaving their mark on with a soapstone. To join the Covenant of the Warriors of Sunlight, it's best if you do a cleric build because you need a stat of 25 of faith, and we have 8, of course. The catch is, if you normally, without being associated to a covenant, help someone defeat a boss by being summoned to them to reward, the requirement will scale down by 5 until I think it's the minimal, which I think it's 5. So the more you help people in PvP, and on bosses, the more the game will actually reward you for that in trying to join the Covenant of the Warriors of the Sunlight. I normally don't because despite the fact that I love the memes, I'm more of a particular other Covenant that I will show in another part. For different reasons, but still, I kind of like the fact that there is one dedicated like this. Anyway, there's another bonfire here. So let's lit it up and get here. Also, I think I can level up something. Yeah. Alright, so let's level up more endurance. Why not? Never get enough. And as you can see, there's a gate here. Now, if I chose the sneaky way, I would have ended up on the other side of this gate with no way of opening it. Now, instead, I essentially unlocked a shortcut of some sort. So there you go.
Alright.
Now there's a guy here, let's bait him here because then there's a surprise. Now while I wait that Dweebs comes back, I will just go down here to show you where I was supposed to potentially go, and the fact that this is a good point for farming the humanity that I mentioned, I think, in part 2. By killing these rats, which respawn rather quickly because you're near the bonfire, they potentially have a chance of dropping 1 ounce of humanity, meaning that they can be used for farming it, for you to become human, to be able to summon NPCs in case you're wondering, or to boost up the bonfires that you're near. So again, good spot if you are a beginner at this point and you want to farm up some humanity. Alright, Daves, you're back?
Yeah.
Because it's time for another decision.
Oh,
These stairs
boy.
are super inviting. Do you want me to go up?
No.
Shioi?
Yes.
Alright, the coin toss because you're undecided.
Well, we've been unified throughout the past couple of parts, so we'll change it up a bit.
Up it is!
Okay.
Zero, you fool!
And up the stairs is... I mean,
Death.
still spookiness,
Lots
I guess.
and lots of death.
Let's see. Another Black Knight! This time with a giant big-ass greatsword.
Hello there.
Well, Zero, this is
Yeah,
all
I'm
your
noping
fault.
I
You're
can't-
noping the heck out.
No, no, I can't fight there. It's such a close space. It's
Yeah,
best
yeah.
if I fight on a more normal ground. I mean, the game is pretty much the level design was pretty much studied to be like, oh, are you coming here or not? Jeez.
He didn't feel like going down the stairs. Don't come up. You'll get you halfway and you'll be in
Where
the
did he went?
area.
Wait, where did he go?
Did we just?
Did he just
Okay,
pop out of existence?
no, it can't be dead because if he was dead, he would have spawned at least one item because he's he's
Are
an
you sure it's not invisible?
No. Invisible enemy is a for Dark Souls 2. No, that's. Oh, maybe he fell down here potentially.
If he fell down, maybe he lost a lot of health.
Okay, audience, pardon me. I'll just rewatch the footage and I'll probably edit. Oh, now he's dead.
Wait, he actually died?
Okay, game. As much as I also Polish ports, everyone. Game. As much as I appreciate you giving me essentially a freebie here, I would have wanted to have a decent chance of potentially also dying. So next try to be.
I wanted to die.
Yeah. Alright, instead here, there you go, this is your next major obstacle. A full armored boar. Surrounded by soldiers of all kind. Obviously, we don't want to fight this thing. Because it's actually way out of our league. So let's first bait the other soldiers and kill them quickly like this. Thankfully our trusty Zweihander can make quick work of them.
And then the monster died off screen.
Seriously, I don't know what happened. Like, did he see it? Did it seriously clip through the floor?
You always seem to find these weird glitches in games. You're the guy who found that.
Dreams, let me just use this as a small taste of foreshadowing. Oh Jesus, no, stay away!
Oh.
Bad war, bad. Let me shove this sword up your ass!
You were the one who found that weird glitch.
Oh, and I killed him.
In,
Okay, I guess I really became a bit too overpowered for now. Because the entire encounter was built around finding a way to defeat the boar.
And yeah, you found a way to defeat the boar. Just whack him with your powerful sword.
Well, you'll see better once I get up these stairs, because I need to find now a way to open this gate or get to the other side. So let me try something. But I forgot what I was saying actually. God damn it. Anyway, there's nothing here. Oh yeah, let it be a small taste for things to come, Dibs. The other day was finishing recording the X-Men Origins Wolverine official game. Pretty good stuff overall. But I managed to find also a really stupid glitch on that at the very tail end of it. So I'm not, I guess the glitch gremlin is really obsessed with me or something. There we go. By defeating these enemies...
I love how he commentated on it as well. We're setting this guy up to be a huge ranger threat and he just dies.
Well, that's something that could potentially happen also in D&D, so... Anyway...
How did he die?
I'm guessing... If I had to hazard a guess or something, instead of actually, following us, I'm pausing here just for a second. Instead of actually following us, he actually fell down that hole that I went, the one with the stair. And in order to try to get back to us, try to go for the long run by exiting the door, which has a narrow path to it. So probably it's simply the AI just fucked up and let it, fall over. At least that's what I thought. Again, I will try to watch again the footage and see what happened. But anyway, let me try to show you how you were supposed to defeat the boar. By defeating the enemies here, you would have been above the boar here, and here you would have collected an alluring skull, essentially a bait. You toss this item like a grenade, but it doesn't do damage, but instead it attracts enemies to it. So you were logically supposed to throw from here, one into the fire below, and the boar would have, being attracted to it, and would have killed itself by, being burned alive. Very stupid, I know, but, That's what you do. That's what you do. Anyway, we still need to get open the gate. So let's actually use the passage that goes near the door. That goes a bit down below. But yeah, anyway, what I was saying is that's the joy of RNG as well. Like it's one of the like sure you actually, if I recall correctly, you actually did some D&D role playing, correct?
No, I watched it.
Oh, okay, but in that case, you still know because you actually watched it. But due to the elements of how characters are built and encounters are prepared in a game, and well, the rest is usually due to players' discretion, the master discretion, and improvisation. There you go, that's the key term. Anyway, we got a mystery key. I'll reprise in a second. Let me just see what this item does through its convenient item description. The purpose of this key is unknown. It appears to be a basic prison cell key. Let's keep that in mind. But anyway, the encounters that a dungeon master may offer to you may have different results if a player decides to do something, or specific events happen, or like even the player or a dungeon master, fuck up a dice roll. Like he gets a 1 at the worst possible moment. There we go. Here's some equilibrium. There we go. Also shitty item. So there is an interesting factor into that. That's also why the people like the people like Matthew Mercer, Lime O'Brien, the group that is doing Critical Role is actually doing that for YouTube. The fact that one, they're enjoying a good D&D session, and second, they can offer a series of content with actual variety due to its very nature. Anyway, as you can see, we're starting to get over the gate. But from here, you can see there's an enemy that is not noticing us. So let's see if we can be sneaky about it. And couldn't perform a backstab, but I still killed him. So there you go. There is a shield here, but shields from now on were pretty much pointless. Well, maybe except for one later on. But this were way later in the game. Right now, we just need this, our trusty Grasper shield. Hey, you're motherfucker. Oh no, you don't. There we go.
Sure, I'll just stand here and let you drink the magical potion.
Yeah, there's another one too here. Fucking hell. Fuck. There we go, dead. So let's take care of this guy. Fuck. Are you seriously underestimating these basic enemies? Anyway, we're actually close to the... Okay, would you knock it off? Okay then.
I want your autograph.
No, fuck off. Alright, 3 more basic enemies and then we're up to the next bonfire. Go.
Well, one of these, it'll be fitting if we record one of these parts on Fire Nights.
When specifically? 5th of November. Yeah.
November 5th, yeah. Mind you, I'll have to try and be early on all the fireworks in my Chihuahua's.
Also, I will need to be uploading that, that same day, so it's not too feasible. Anyway, by entering here, we actually enter the church of the undead that we need to get there. But since this party is dragging to a close, so instead let's get to the next bonfire, which is actually very close here. So,
and then a giant monster drops from above and squishes.
You're not too far off, but thankfully we're not, going to do that right now. For now, let's get to the bonfire here. And if you have a keen hearing, you may start to hearing some particular ticking, almost as if someone is using a hammer or something. So before we close the part, let's pay a visit down here. And... oh, it's a blacksmith. So let's talk to him.
Well,
You say the ticking for
And here's a plus, this character actually has a mouth movement for his dialogue.
Require smithing, then speak to me.
This is Andre of Astora.
Most weapons and armor are mighty sturdy indeed.
I'll check who
But
he's
every
played
hunk
by.
of metal has its breaking point.
There's a
If you
particular
notice
accent, I can tell that.
durability running low, it's time to repair. You can ask a blacksmith like myself.
Dark
Yeah.
Souls,
or do it
Andre
in
of
your own with
Astora,
right
voice
stone.
actor.
The nice thing about weapons,
They never betray you. Heh.
so pay them a little respect.
Yes, I watched Conan the Barbarian. Anyway, let's get some items. This guy can sell us an infinite supplies of titanite shards, which will be useful for blacksmithing, of course. Some minor kind of weapons and shields, so nothing too special. Traditional ammunition, and some key items that we need. Specifically tools that we can use at a bonfire for, reinforcing weapons of our own. Here we go, and repairing weapons of our own. He also has this thing called the Crest of Artorias, but as you can see, it's super expensive. So we can't get right now, but rest assured, we will be getting it soon enough.
He's voiced by Sean Barrett.
I heard that name before.
He voices a lot of, again, he's a British voice actor, so he does a lot of British stuff, including, he was in The Dark Crystal.
In the meantime, let's power up our Grasker shield like this. Do some decent
Don't
defense.
get yourself killed. Neither of us want to see you.
I
go
mean,
wrong.
have you seen my face? Come on. But who was it in Dark Crystal? One of the Skeksis, I guess?
Let me try.
No, maybe, considering the type of voice, maybe it was one of the Mystics.
Let me see. He was Urzar the Ritual Guardian.
Yeah, one of
He
the
was also
Mystics.
Ursu the Dying Master.
Yeah, one of the Mystics. Anyway, I think it's a good time to end it here. So we managed to accomplish a lot of things in just 2 parts by propelling ourselves forward. So tune in for the next part when we actually most definitely started to ring the first bell of awakening. See ya.
See ya.
See ya.